why would any historical, knowledgeable Christian or Jewish person or peace-loving person of any faith, including Islam, want to promote and or encourage and or support any initiative that is named after Cordoba, which is historically a city that was conquered so viciously by an army acting in the name of Islam?
My name is Ibrahim Abdul Mueed Rami. I'm the Human and Civil Rights Program person for the Muslim American Society Freedom, or MASF Freedom. This particular press conference was an important step toward demonstrating multi-faith and interfaith unity around support for the Cordoba Initiative's plan to build a mosque and community center in Manhattan, but also to let people know that there is a significant movement to defend the rights of Muslims wherever we are as it regards the building of mosques and community centers throughout the United States.
Scott Thuman from ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Scott.
The constitutional argument aside, just theoretical here, what is the argument against, perhaps because of the sensitivity of the issue, not looking at other locations? I know that Governor Patterson had at one point said we would afford an opportunity to put this somewhere else on state-owned property, defraying the costs. What about that argument of people saying, we understand you have the right, but perhaps just out of sensitivity, why don't we look at another location?
Okay. Sensitivity is a very real issue. But so is the manipulation of sensitivity for political purposes. When you look at the ideological spectrum of the United States, the people who are condemning the construction of the Islamic Center and the mosque are generally not identified as people who stand for the civil liberties of Latinos and immigrants or African Americans or working people or Muslims, obviously. I believe that there is a conflation of political attacks that is now focused on this particular issue. One, because people perceive of Muslims as being vulnerable, but also because it's a very easy and cheap way to get political points against a group of people who have been systematically and consistently demonized as a group of people. As Corey said, Al-Qaeda attacked the United States and the American people, not the American Muslim community attacked the United States and the American people. And we need to continually say and emphasize the fact that Muslims in the United States did not plan, did not finance, and did not execute that crime. And we'll continue to say that and continue to say to the critics of Muslims in this society that if you have evidence against a particular person or a group, bring the evidence forward. Because we live in a judicial system not based upon accusation or speculation or prejudice, but based on empirical evidence of committing a crime.
I'm Rabbi Arthur Wasco. I'm director of the Shalom Center. Our website is www.theshalomcenter.org. And I'm here today because the Shalom Center has been working with interfaith dialogue and also interfaith action, not just dialogue. We have worked with Imam Rauf and Daisy Khan, the organizers of the Cordoba Initiative and the initiators of this possibility of a community center in Lower Manhattan that's rooted in Islam and reaching out to the world. We are committed not only to religious liberty, but we're committed to the kind of religious life which is respectful and celebratory of other religious communities. So from all those perspectives, we were absolutely horrified at the anger and hostility that has emerged against the notion of Muslim community center or a mosque in Lower Manhattan, and also around the rest of the country where people have trumped up all sorts of excuses to oppose having a mosque in this town or that city, etc.
That's not right.
Why would any historically knowledgeable Christian or Jewish person or peace-loving person of any faith, including Islam, want to promote and or encourage and or support any initiative that is named after Cordoba, which is historically a city that was conquered so viciously by an army acting in the name of Islam? And shouldn't any terrorist acting in the name of Islam be extremely pleased with any kind of building and representation being done in the name of Cordoba and Islam at a site where terrorist destruction and collateral damage took place on 9/11 in the name of Islam?
Cordoba in Jewish tradition is one of the few places in the world where Jews, Christians, and Muslims connected, learned together, celebrated together. Yes, there was a contest, but did you know that the conquering army, which was Muslim, also conquered a Muslim-led regency in Cordoba? That was not Muslims versus Christians or Jews. It was Muslims versus Muslims, just as Al-Qaeda did. Cordoba is a place of honor. You ask how a Jew could celebrate it. Cordoba is a place of honor in Jewish tradition. I, as a rabbi, as a Jew, as an American, as a human being, can say that from knowing the organizers of the Cordoba Initiative, I think that it's not only that they have a constitutional right, but it is that they are ethically right and profoundly wise. Given that, I think for them to erect a beacon to the truth of an Islam that is committed to peace, the truth of an Islam that is committed to compassion, the truth of an Islam that carries on dialogue with Jews and Christians and Buddhists and Hindus and atheists, for them to erect that beacon against the violence, the hatred, the destruction of the mass murders that were perpetrated at the World Trade Center. To erect such a beacon is ethically right and profoundly wise.
WTOP Radio. I was wondering if we could have an assessment from you about how this is playing in the Muslim world outside the United States and what kind of damage it might be doing to America's image.
I think that General Petraeus actually said it better than I possibly could, and that is that there is a perception on the part of some radical and extremist people that this issue will further marginalize the opinion of the United States in the Muslim press and Muslim civil society. So I think that, very briefly, it is very important, as I think Mayor Bloomberg said in New York, that we not give the extremist and the terrorist a victory by caving into some sentiment that says that Muslim rights have to be truncated or denied because of some popular wave of backlash. The First Amendment is not a popularity poll. It is really something enshrined in the Constitution. We need to stand on that, and I think if we stand on that as a nation, we can convince and illuminate to the entire Muslim world that this is a country based on values, based on openness, and based on true freedom of religion.
The first point is that it is constitutional and legal for Muslims to have the same religious rights and freedoms as everyone else in the country. The second point is that we are not accepting the notion of collective guilt or collective responsibility because Muslims in America did not finance or orchestrate or execute the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. But the third, maybe most important point is that by building this center and by allowing for religious freedom for Muslims and celebrating that freedom and defending it, we're actually celebrating the best of the society and the best traditions of the society when you look at religious pluralism and the right of all people of faith to live equally free in America.